Hello and welcome to another episode of BK's Bullets. We are here in the Casino Man Cave where today we will be talking about Marvel's sales problem. A Marvel editor a couple weeks back at a retailer summit said it was a diversity problem, that Marvel's readers didn't like the new and diverse characters and things like that. Well, I can tell you right now that is not the case. As you can see, I'm a white male, so I am probably the majority. I am 30 years old. Probably the majority of comic book readers out there, older white males in their 30s, things like that. So what I wanted to say was it's not a diversity problem, at least for me. I don't feel that other people think opposite of me. I think a lot of us think like me. But I think Marvel's sales problem is that just their books aren't that good. They go from event to event to event and have very little time to kind of gain steam and figure out what it is that they're doing with their universe. We had Civil War II wrap up a few months ago, and that was supposed to be an earth-shattering event. Well, what happened out of Civil War II? Tony is in a coma, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and the Hulk died. And what happened to Hawkeye, who killed the Hulk? Practically nothing. He's not an Avenger anymore, but he's still running around with the Native Americans in his own Occupy Avengers book, which is kind of boring. He's not really tackling any issues, so to speak. They promised some sort of like status quo change. The main thing that happened out of that is they destroyed the Triskelion and where the Ultimates were headquartered. Miss Marvel had her base there, and now she's not there anymore. She's just in a different base, and she's still in power, even though she was kind of the aggressor the entire time in that conflict. And I would think most readers would consider her responsible for everything that happened with Tony Stark and the Hulk, and all of her profiling and pre-policing, Minority Report, precog style stuff that she pulled in that book. Anyway, in the Marvel Universe, nothing happened with that book. Pretty much it ended. The Marvel Universe kind of stayed the same other than those two characters. And we moved along for a few months, and then, oh, by the way, here's Inhumans versus X-Men popping up. We had, 7 issues of that. What came out of that? Cyclops died. We had some conflict between the mutants and Inhumans, but by the end of it, the mutants and Inhumans were no longer at conflict. So instead of setting up a future status quo for those two universes, and they're really trying to push the Inhumans so hard, they just kind of canceled it all out. Never mind the conflict, guys. We're all buddy-buddy. Hey, we can all get a big hug. We're friends here. And now we're entering Secret Empire, which I firmly believe by the end of those, 9 or 7 or however many issues that's scheduled for, in a few months, we're not going to have a big status quo change. And I feel like the readers are just, I certainly have Marvel event fatigue. It's just been non-stop ever since Civil War, way back in 2007. We had Civil War, and then we had, Tony Stark was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. Then we had Secret Invasion with the Skrulls. Then we had Norman Osborn as the head of Hammer instead of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then we had Siege. We had all these events. We just came out of Secret Wars. Seems like less than a year and a half ago, and that, to me, seemed like that should be the huge status quo altering book in terms of the Marvel Universe. But what came out of it, we got a few characters from the Ultimate Universe inside. We got Miles Morales inside of the main, 616 as it was called. They don't want to call it that anymore. And there's really no status quo change coming out of that other than, oh, the Fantastic Four disappeared because, Fox is not friends with Marvel in terms of movie studio rights and things like that. So we're going to take them out of the comic books. Thanks, Ike Perlmutter. So I don't really know what's going on with that. And then we move into these, these next 3 events: Civil War II, IVX, and now Secret Empire. And I'm not even mentioning we had Fear Itself. We had Original Sin. There were plenty of events just following one after the other after the other. It seemed like sometimes the events were scheduled so long, but that by the time they ended, in a period of 3 to 4 months after that, we would have the beginning of another Marvel event. So the Marvel Universe has kind of just been in like this event snowball, where instead of getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it kind of did culminate with Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman and Assad Ribic, which was a pretty good story. I will give them that. But that snowball never continued to keep growing, and it never really changed anything. It was just change for change's sake. And not only that, with the events, you had all the different relaunches. You had Marvel Now, All New Marvel Now, I don't know what to call it Marvel Now, Secret Avengers Now, or just plain old Avengers Now, and now. All these different relaunches made everybody just kind of go, I don't really know where the Marvel Universe is headed. I don't know what the books are, and books are coming in and books are leaving. Books are coming in, books are leaving. Since they have these yearly relaunches, they get away with the poor performing books and they add a bunch of new books in, usually things to, that they set up coming out of the events. But I feel like none of these books are really given that time to kind of grow organically or even get an audience. Heck, sometimes when you look at the weekly releases, I'm a digital guy myself. You look at the releases for DC, there might be 20 books on a really heavy week. Most of the time it's 15, at least for the, or even less sometimes for the main DC universe, not to mention Vertigo and the Hanna-Barbera and all that stuff like that. You scroll down to the Marvel section each week, and it is like a laundry list of titles. It is incredible how much money Marvel is putting into these comic books every single week. And if at some point in time they got to just go, this is not profitable. I don't understand how they can sell so many books each week and still maintain all this profit. I mean, obviously some are probably loss leaders. Some are probably doing better than others and therefore paying for the lower tier books that aren't making a profit. But at least for me, it seems overwhelming. It feels kind of like Marvel has no direction right now. I'm hoping Secret Empire can do something with that. I'm cautiously optimistic about Secret Empire. But the Marvel Universe doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It doesn't have a lot of the cosmic stuff, and I didn't even touch on those events that they've had over the last, 10 years. Annihilation Conquest, Thanos Imperative, Realm of Kings, all these different things. So it's always like, if there's not one main Marvel Universe event, there's always something coming out of like one of the smaller family of titles. But because of that event status that the Marvel Universe, or one pocket of the Marvel Universe, is constantly in, there's no time for breathing room. It's just, we're just moving on to the next thing, and on to the next thing, and on to the next thing. And, oh yeah, we have a relaunch, and oh yeah, here's another event, and oh yeah, here's the second relaunch. And if I feel like I'm rambling, that's because that's what the Marvel Universe is doing right now. It's hard for me to put into words what it's doing because it feels like the readers don't know, and therefore maybe the writers don't know, because all we have to go on is what's being written on the page. And if the writers don't know, the editors don't know. And the editors can't communicate, then how can they organize the universe between all the writers and families of books? Does that make sense? So, Marvel Universe, forget the diversity stuff. Thor, Jane Foster book by Jason Aaron is great. Mainly because it's by Jason Aaron. He's continuing his long Thor saga. I think that will be, the Thor run to beat, other than Walt Simonson's run in a few years. J. Michael Straczynski's run coming in, probably a third or fourth after some other ones. Mainly because he didn't really get to finish his story. He jumped off for other reasons, and someone else kind of finished his story within 6 issues when that ended. But that story is really strong. Miles Morales' book is also good. It's maintained quality ever since it started up in the Ultimate Universe. But I guess they're just going to kind of run into these problems where if they can't figure out where their universe is going, then they're just going to continue to roll down that hill. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. They're supposed to have, Marvel's announced this Legacy event where they're bringing back all the old versions of characters. So you have Thor Odin's son becoming Thor now. You have Captain America, Steve Rogers, coming back into his costume and shield. I guess this is post-Secret Empire, so spoilers, unless it's some sort of time travel thing. Apparently Wolverine is back, or Old Man Logan. Who the hell knows what's going on with Wolverine in terms of him being named Logan or not, much less young or old. It's just, frankly, it's quite bizarre. And I don't really know where it's going. Obviously, it keeps repeating myself. But it feels like there's not a strong hand on the tiller at Marvel Universe. So I would think that's because that's causing your sales problems. People just aren't interested in your books because it seems like you just swipe them away each year to relaunch a whole new set. So if they don't feel like getting invested because it's only going to be 6 or 8 or 12 issues, then you have no one to blame but yourself. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for supporting BK's Bullets. You can like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I will see you next time. And until then, I will see you in the comments.